The wedding hall sparkled with white roses and golden ribbons, but for Anna, it felt more like a courtroom than a celebration. Everyone saw a radiant bride. No one saw the trembling hands hidden beneath the lace. Just hours before she was to walk down the aisle, her fiance's mother, Mrs. Grant, had slid a stack of papers across the vanity table. "It's just a formality, dear," she said sweetly, though her voice carried steel. Anna stared at the title, * marital property agreement, * her heart pounded. "You want me to sign this now?" she whispered. "Before I marry your son?" Mrs. Grant smiled. "It's to protect the family. Surely you understand." But Anna wasn't thinking about property or money. She was thinking about the small life growing inside her. She hadn't told anyone yet, not even Daniel. The thought of signing away her rights while carrying his child made her stomach twist. She wanted to walk out, but where would she go? Her family had cut her off after the engagement, calling her a fool for trusting the Grants. Daniel knocked gently and entered, looking tired but loving. "Mom told me you were upset," he said softly. "It's just a precaution, Anna. You know how she is. Sign it and it'll all be over." His voice cracked, almost pleading. Anna searched his eyes for the man who once swore love over cheap coffee and late-night rain. All she saw was fear, not for her, but for himself. She signed. The pen moved like a blade across her future. The applause at the ceremony hours later was thunderous, but in her chest there was only silence. Under her breath, she whispered to herself, * love shouldn't need a signature to be believed. * The first night in their new home was supposed to be beautiful. Instead, Anna sat on the edge of the bed, still in her wedding dress, staring at the ink on her finger from the signature she'd given hours earlier. Daniel was downstairs, talking to his mother again. She could hear their voices through the vents, Mrs. Grant whispering, Daniel answering quietly like a scolded child. When he finally came up, he smiled faintly, trying to act normal. "We're married," he said, touching her hand. "Everything's going to be fine now." But the warmth she used to feel was gone. "You didn't even ask what was in it," she said softly. "That contract you made me sign," Daniel sighed. "It's standard. Anna, my mom's just ... cautious. You know how she is." She wanted to scream to tell him that caution had stolen her dignity. Instead, she said nothing. The next morning, she stood by the kitchen window, watching Mrs. Grant's car pull into the driveway. Her mother-in-law entered like she owned the place. "Good morning, dear," she said cheerfully. "I thought I'd bring over a few things to make the house more ... suitable." As she unpacked porcelain dishes and tablecloths, she turned to Anna. "You'll be resting soon, won't you?" Anna froze. "Resting? Yes, dear." When the baby comes, Anna's lips parted, her heart stopping. She hadn't told anyone. "How did you? A mother always knows," Mrs. Grant interrupted, smiling. "And now you'll be even more careful. For everyone's sake." That moment, Anna realized she wasn't just married into a family. She was owned by one. Days turned into weeks, and Anna felt the walls closing in. Mrs. Grant visited almost daily, rearranging furniture, correcting recipes, dictating routines. Daniel had started working longer hours, or so he said. Anna often found herself alone, listening to the echo of her own thoughts in a house that didn't feel like hers. One afternoon, while cleaning Daniel's study, she found the contract again tucked neatly in a drawer. She sat down and read it carefully this time. Every line was like a blade, clauses about inheritance, guardianship, even custody. If anything happened between them, the baby would belong to the Grant family, not her. Her stomach turned. That night, when Daniel came home, she confronted him. "Did you even read what I signed?" she asked, trembling. He hesitated. "Anna, please, don't start this again. You gave them our child before it's even born," she shouted. Daniel's face hardened. "It's my family, Anna. You knew what you were marrying into for a moment. She didn't recognize the man standing before her. "I married you," she whispered. "Not them." He walked away without looking back. Later that night, Mrs. Grant appeared again, uninvited, her voice smooth as glass. "You shouldn't upset him, dear. Stress isn't good for the baby." Anna clenched her fists. "You don't get to tell me how to live." Mrs. Grant smiled coldly. "Oh, I already have." And with that, she left, leaving behind a silence that screamed louder than words. Anna started keeping secrets of her own. It was the only power she had left. She began hiding her prenatal appointment dates, making excuses whenever Mrs. Grant offered to escort her. The doctor's visits were the only moments she could breathe, moments when no one told her what to eat, how to sit, or how to think. One afternoon, while waiting in the clinic, the nurse smiled and handed her an ultrasound photo. "Strong heartbeat," she said gently. Anna stared at the small shadow on the screen, tears welling up. That tiny flicker was the only person in her world truly hers. When she got home, Daniel was in the living room, his mother beside him. Mrs. Grant's sharp eyes spotted the envelope in Anna's hand. "What's that?" she asked. Anna clutched it protectively. "It's private. Nothing in this house is private," Mrs. Grant replied. Daniel reached for it. "Anna, don't make this difficult." She stepped back. "You've already made it difficult," she whispered. The room froze. For a moment, even Daniel looked ashamed. But his mother's glare was enough to silence him. That night, Anna packed a small bag just in case. She didn't know where she'd go, but she was done being told who she was allowed to be. She hid the ultrasound photo inside her Bible and whispered, "One day, you'll know your mother tried." Outside, rain began to fall heavy. Relentless, like the world itself was warning her that freedom would not come easily. It was almost midnight when Anna woke up to the sound of voices downstairs. Her heart raced Daniel and his mother again. She crept quietly to the staircase, careful not to make a sound. "She's getting unpredictable," Mrs. Grant hissed. "You need to keep her in line. She can't just leave whenever she wants." Daniel's tired voice followed. "Mom, she's not your enemy. She's a liability," Mrs. Grant snapped. "And that baby is our family's future. Don't forget that." Anna's stomach twisted. Asterisk our family's future dot asterisk not asterisk hers asterisk. Not asterisk mine dot asterisk. She pressed her hand to her belly, tears burning her eyes. Later, when she returned to her room, she noticed the bag she'd hidden in the closet was gone. Panic rushed through her veins. Daniel stood in the doorway, holding it. "Going somewhere." His voice was calm, but his eyes weren't. "You searched my things," Anna whispered. "You're not making this easy," he replied. "Mom thinks." "Stop saying what your mother thinks," she cried. "What do you think, Daniel? Do you even love me anymore?" He said nothing, just silence, heavy, suffocating. She turned away, trembling. "Then I'll love this child. Enough for both of us." Daniel's face softened for a second, but he said the words she'd feared most. "You don't understand how powerful my mother is." "Maybe not," Anna said quietly, "but she's about to find out how strong I am, and for the first time." Daniel looked afraid. The following morning, Anna woke to the sound of quiet footsteps outside her room. The door opened slowly. Mrs. Grant, carrying a tray. "Breakfast," she said with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Anna stayed silent. "You should eat, dear. It's not good for the baby when you're upset. Then maybe you should stop upsetting me," Anna murmured. Mrs. Grant's smile froze. "Careful, dear. You forget whose roof you live under." Anna's eyes narrowed. "I think you forget whose child I'm carrying for the first time." Mrs. Grant's face twitched, just slightly. "You'll regret that tone." She set down the tray and left, the air thick with tension. Later that day, Daniel returned home to find Anna gone from the living room. Upstairs, the ultrasound photo lay on the bed next to an empty suitcase. He rushed outside, heart pounding, and saw her by the garden gate, suitcase in hand. "Where are you going?" he demanded. Anna turned, her voice steady. "Somewhere your mother's name doesn't decide my life. You can't leave." Daniel said, "You're my wife." "No," she said quietly. "I'm your mother's prisoner." A long silence followed. The wind rustled the trees like whispers of freedom. "If you walk out that door, Anna, then maybe you'll finally see what love looks like when it's not controlled." She walked away, her hand on her belly, the sound of her heels echoing against the cold driveway. For the first time, she didn't feel weak, she felt alive. Anna walked for nearly an hour before realizing she had nowhere to go. The rain soaked her dress, her shoes squelching in the mud as she reached the small bus station. On the edge of town, she sat on a bench, clutching her stomach, shivering not from the cold, but from fear. Her phone buzzed again and again, Daniel calling. Then Mrs. Grant. She turned it off. For the first time, there was silence, real silence. Across from her, an elderly woman waited under a broken umbrella. She smiled kindly. "You running from something or toward something, dear?" Anna managed a weak laugh. "Maybe both." The woman nodded, as if she understood too well. "Then don't stop until you find peace." The next bus arrived, its headlights cutting through the fog. Anna hesitated, hand on her belly. "We can do this," she whispered. She got on and rode for hours, watching the city lights fade into darkness. By the time the bus stopped in a small coastal town, dawn had broken. She checked into an old motel and curled up on the bed, exhausted. For the first time in months, she slept without fear. But peace wouldn't last. 2 days later, as she walked along the beach, she spotted a familiar car parked near the pier. Daniel's. Her heart skipped. He stepped out, eyes searching until they found her. "Anna," he said, breathless. "Please, come home." She shook her head. "Home? You mean your mother's house?" "She didn't mean to hurt you." Anna looked at him, tears in her eyes. "No, Daniel, you both did." She turned and walked away, the ocean wind carrying her words into the distance. "You'll never control me again." Anna rented a tiny room above a bakery. The smell of fresh bread woke her every morning, reminding her she was still free, barely, but free. She got a part-time job cleaning tables, saving every coin she could. Her belly grew, her steps slowed, but her will hardened. The townspeople knew her only as the quiet lady from room 5, and that was exactly how she liked it. Yet at night, when the streets went silent, the weight of loneliness pressed on her chest. She still loved Daniel, and she hated herself for it. One evening, she received a letter at the bakery, no return address, just her name. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Inside was a single sentence written in Daniel's handwriting. Asterisk, "You deserve better than what I let them do to you." Asterisk. There was no signature, no apology, just truth. She read it again and again until the ink blurred with her tears. The next morning, she went to the doctor for a checkup. "You're stronger than you think," the nurse said after examining her. Anna smiled faintly. "I have to be." That night, a storm rolled in from the sea. She stood by the window, her hand on her belly, whispering softly, "You and I. We'll make it." Lightning flashed, illuminating her reflection, not a frightened girl anymore, but a woman reborn through pain. Somewhere far away, in a cold mansion filled with silence, Mrs. Grant stared at a framed wedding photo and realized too late the daughter-in-law she had tried to control had become the woman she feared most, independent. Months passed, and Anna's belly had grown full, her spirit unbreakable. The townspeople adored her, the quiet woman who always smiled, who hummed while cleaning tables. But inside, she was counting days, not in fear anymore, but in anticipation. One morning, the bakery owner rushed in with a newspaper. "You've made the front page," he said. Anna frowned, confused. On the cover was a photo of Daniel and Mrs. Grant. The headline read, Asterisk, "Grant family faces financial collapse after legal scandal." Asterisk. Her heart raced. She read the article. The business empire Daniel's family had built was falling apart after Years of corruption coming to light, Mrs. Grant was under investigation. Daniel had resigned from the company. Anna sat in silence for a long time. She didn't feel joy, only closure. That night, she wrote a letter not to Daniel, not to anyone else, but to herself. You survived the cruelty of love built on control. You learned that real love never demands silence. A week later, she gave birth to a baby girl. When the nurse placed the child in her arms, Anna whispered, "You'll never have to beg to be free," as she rocked her daughter to sleep. The storm outside finally broke, the thunder distant now. Somewhere far away, Daniel read the same newspaper, holding the ultrasound photo she left behind. He whispered her name, tears falling too late. Anna looked at her window at the dawn, her baby resting on her chest, and said softly, "We're safe now." A year passed. The sea breeze still carried the same scent of salt and freedom that had welcomed Anna the day she escaped. Her daughter, Lily, was now walking, her tiny laughter filling the small home with light. Every sound of that laughter reminded Anna that she had chosen correctly, that the pain had meaning. One evening, as she closed the bakery, she found a familiar figure standing near the door. Daniel, older, thinner, eyes full of exhaustion and regret. "I had to see you," he said softly. Anna froze but didn't step back. "How did you find me?" "It wasn't hard," he said with a small, broken smile. "I just followed the only place that ever smelled like peace." He handed her an envelope, a document. "It's the contract," he said. I tore it up. "And mother, she's gone." His voice cracked. "I just needed you to know I'm not the man I was." Anna looked at him for a long moment, her eyes gentle but distant. "You were never the man I needed you to be," she said quietly. He nodded, tears streaming down his face. "Can I at least see her?" Anna hesitated, then opened the door slightly. Lily peeked from behind her legs, curious. Daniel knelt. "She has your eyes," he whispered. Anna's voice softened. "She has your heart, but I'll teach her how to protect it." He smiled weakly, understanding what that meant. As he turned to leave, Anna whispered, "Thank you for letting me go." He looked back once, then disappeared down the street. The sky glowed pink and gold as Anna lifted Lily into her arms. "We're free now," she said, kissing her daughter's forehead. The wind carried her words over the sea, not a cry of pain anymore, but a promise of peace. She lost everything they thought defined her, and found everything they never could take away. Anna's story isn't just about love or betrayal, it's about strength. It's about a woman who learned that freedom is worth more than any promise, any paper, any name. If this story moved you, if you felt Anna's pain, her courage, her rebirth, don't forget to like the video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe for more stories that remind us what resilience truly looks like. Tell me in the comments, what does freedom mean to you? Because sometimes walking away isn't weakness, it's the beginning of strength.